Well, I hope you all are having a great day today. I hope you have a great week. You know you can tune in to Boss Lady News every Friday at 6 p.m. or feel free to go to the website BossLadyNews.com. We've got exclusive interviews there, and we've got pieces like great artwork, great events that you can always find out about going on throughout the New England area. Today we're going to be talking with Miss Diana Vertus and Dr. Barbara Lewis in reference to Art Grove. It's an opportunity for you all to find out more about what's going on in the art world here in the New England area, and they've got quite a few events that are successive events that are going on throughout the area. We're also going to get to talk with David Carruthers, yes, of the Empowerment Zone. He is one of your local producers here in Boston and at the BNN. He's got quite a few other engagements and opportunities going on, as well as business perspectives that he's looking into. As we always do, we're going to go ahead and get into some news right now. I'm not sure how you guys are in reference to what's going on with the presidency. It almost seems as if all the rest of the Republicans that are running as candidates have dropped out because the only person mainstream media is covering is, yes, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very opinionated individual, which some may say is saying a few of the comments that some of the people, some of the Americans actually completely agree with, 100%. And Donald Trump speaks for a group of individuals that have a lot of money and choose to not have to be the President of the United States. Will he win is the question. I'm not going to say who I am voting for, but what I am going to encourage you to do is make sure that you are a registered voter. Whether you are here in Massachusetts or over there in Oklahoma, hello to all of my individuals that are watching me out there. Texas, my daughters told me, is one of the largest states in the United States, which, yes, my 6-year-old is very excited that she's learning geometry now. And it's very important that the larger states also make sure that their people of color, their minorities, are registered voters too. So anyone out there that has a family member, friend, or individual that lives in some of these West Coast states, please encourage them to be registered voters also. I know that people feel as if their vote does not count, but you'd be surprised how much your vote really does count. In other news today, I also found out about the new technology piece that some tech nerds out there are working on. It is a transporter. And this machine right here is expected to be able to transport at least 3 passengers from one side of the city to the next side of the city. I am very excited to bring up this piece of news because I feel as if technology today just hasn't been moving forward. We look at all of these Star Wars movies that are coming out, new, renovated, redone movies that are coming out. And we remember back in the day some of the movies that really encouraged people to expand their thoughts in technology and how we should be progressing humanity, and not much has happened. I was expecting to see a flying car by now, which actually there is a flying car out there, but it's not available to the public. So find out more about what's going on in technology. Don't be surprised, and it's the young people that are coming up with these things. On that note, I also wanted to mention the new Segway that you guys are seeing these kids riding around. I want one. I absolutely want one. So this Segway is minus the handlebars, and all you have to do is motion forward or motion just slightly backward to either go forward or go backwards. It also senses your body's positioning, and it can turn left or it can turn right. So once again, I'm very excited to see this new technology going on throughout the New England area and finding out that people are staying progressive and knowing what's going on in technology. Don't just be in your phone, know what's going on your phone. Last but not least, I wanted to make sure that I did give recognition actually to 2 more things. Former Chicago Bulls player Michael Jordan was just awarded $8.9 million because a company decided to use his name and likeness for a commercial without consulting him, making him aware, or giving him royalties. Now, this is called trademarking, okay? So Michael Jordan's name has actually been trademarked, which means it's illegal to use that name. So, you guys find out more about trademark? We're going to cut to a brief PSA, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Art Grove. We'll be right back.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it, I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
Thank you for staying tuned to Boss Lady News. You know you can catch me every Friday at 6 p.m. or feel free to go to the website to find out all of my former shows and any exclusive interviews that I got a chance to do. Now we're going to get a chance to speak with two ladies in reference to Art Grove. I'm very excited to talk with them. There was an event that was coordinated over at the Franklin Park where you were able to walk through the park and enjoy the atmosphere and enjoy the great artwork that they had brought out. We're going to talk with Diana Vertus, who is the coordinator and event planner for Art Grove, as well as the owner of Exquisite Design Concepts. We're also going to get a chance to speak with Dr. Barbara Lewis. She is one of the directors at the Trotter Institute for the Study of Black History and Culture. Diana, Miss Barbara, would you please come on out here? Hi. How are you?
Great.
Good to see you. Please
Good to
have
see you
a
as
seat.
well. Thank you for having us.
Dr. Lewis, how are you?
Fine.
Please have
you.
a seat.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to talk with you ladies today. Of course, I always like to find out more about my guests, and the audience would love to know more about you guys as well.
So, Diana,
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Boston, but I grew up in Brookline.
You're still in Boston. Boston's,
Yes.
Brookline's part of Boston, okay?
You're right, it is.
See Boss Lady News out there. And we went to school together.
Yes, we did. Cathedral
So,
Grammar.
yes, we've got quite a bit of history. I didn't know that you were going to be this involved in design and art as you are.
Yes.
So how did you get involved with Exquisite Design Concepts?
I got involved with Exquisite Design Concepts. Actually, I'm an accidental entrepreneur, I call myself. I was working in law at first, law research. They laid me off, and one of my passions was design and event planning. It's something I've always done for family and friends. Mm-hmm. And once I got laid off, my best friends and my family encouraged me to go into event design and planning because they're like, it comes so naturally to me. Mm-hmm. And 2 days before my birthday, that was a gift to myself. I started my business, I registered it, and I just reached out to a whole lot of people, and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There are so many entrepreneurs out there that are just afraid to actually take that step and continue with what it is that they desire to do. And so congratulations for that, number one. And then you're also very involved in the art world here.
Yes, right now I am. I'm one of the co-founders of Art Grove in collaboration with Carolyn Lewinberg, who is the founder of Art Grove, and is a partnership that came my way through Erin Anderson from from Future Boston Alliance, who introduced us, and she said, you know, I want to introduce you to Carolyn. She has this great idea, and I think you guys would be great partners. And so far, we have been. She's like the yin to my yang.
and you're the best coordinator out there, so who wouldn't want to work with you, right?
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Lewis, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, there's a lot, because I mean the list of accomplishments that you've been able to acquire is just incredible. But where are you originally from?
I'm actually originally from New York.
Okay.
But I grew up between South Carolina and Canada, and New York. So my mother was a teacher, and we moved around. In the summers, we were in New York, and in the winters, we were in South Carolina. And then she sent me to high school to a Canadian convent outside of Montreal.
Wow, how was that?
Well, she felt that I needed a better education than I could get in the United States. She felt that it was important for young folks to know languages. And
Absolutely
so,
agree.
as a teacher herself, she just kind of stepped forward and said, you know, you need a world-class education. And
Absolutely.
so I went to Canada, spent 4 years there, learned French, took Latin, which I absolutely adored, and was set on an academic path, I guess. And so I continued that and went all the way through school, but I was always drawn to the arts. And so being involved in the arts now, as an administrator, as a thinker, allows me to use both my hands.
Yeah, and it's so important to find out, first of all, that education is, you know, the driving force that often gets people into doing either entrepreneurship, which is what they love to do, or following through, being a director and working in the institutions and encouraging other young people to get out there, do the same, and incorporating art within that. So I applaud both of you ladies for everything that you're doing and everything you're doing for the community. I do want to talk about you also being, working at the Institute, the Trotter Institute, under the studies. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the Trotter Institute was founded in 1984. It was founded by the Black and Puerto Rican caucus of the state legislature. They felt that there was a need for an institute to be a connector between academia and the community and do research. And they named it after a favorite son of Boston. William Monroe Trotter was the son of James Monroe Trotter, who served in the 55th Massachusetts. He came here specifically from Ohio to join the military during the Civil War, and he rose in prominence. He wrote a book on the musical history of African Americans, the first one. And his son, who graduated from Harvard in 1895, was a classmate of Du Bois. And they worked together, and they co-created something called the Niagara Movement, which was a precursor to Black Lives Matters.
See how this is all just coming together? This is wonderful.
It's true. But it was of its particular day. They gathered people around the country to meet periodically, and it's also the foundational organization out of which the NAACP evolved.
Which I am a member of, and I would encourage anyone out there to find out more about the NAACP and become a member if you feel that it's right for you. We're going to cut to a brief PSA, and when we come back, we're going to jump into Art Grove and discuss that. We'll be right back.
I'd like to let all the young people know that what got me started was reading.
Yeah.
all for coming. I am very excited to be here running for this candidacy as the next President of the United States. I would first like to let all the young people know that what got me started was Brit.
You're tuned into BossLady News, and we are here with Diana Vertus and Dr. Barbara Lewis, and now we're going to be talking about Art Grove. So tell me a little bit, well, tell me a lot about Art Grove.
Yes, Art Grove is a public art event specific to Franklin Park, which is held in Franklin Park Wilderness Picnic Grove. It is made up of cultural expression, public art, we had music, we had performing arts. It's about bringing the community together. We also had a teen-led event a day. Also, we had public art by mass art, Outward Bound students. It was a combination of things. It was great, and it was held in the park opening weekend, August 8th and 9th, and it'll be in the park until the end of August.
It'll continue to stay in the park until the end of August.
Correct.
Wonderful. Okay. What do you have to say about Art Grove? I know you're like,
well,
things.
I will tell you my involvement in Art Grove, and that is that I came up with the theme that the public artists responded to. The theme that I chose was endurance. I felt it was very important. I was inspired by several things. One of them was what I know about Frederick Law Olmsted, who created the park. He was someone who kept going through iterations and iterations of different careers, and each time he went a little higher and achieved a bit more, and I felt like he had endured. Okay. And so I thought it was important to use and think about endurance in that way. Also, as an African-American woman, and thinking about where we are at this point in our history, the return of the violence, I felt that we have endured over and over again, and we need to keep enduring, that endurance is our strength. So I thought of endurance from those two different perspectives. Perhaps, and I hadn't thought about this before, perhaps I am someone who exists kind of in the crossroads between worlds.
Okay.
And so I felt that that theme of endurance was one that radiated and communicated to a lot of different people.
Wow. And I love that you basically challenged them to bring endurance in its art form to the community to be able to look at. And that's the specific reason as to why Franklin Park was chosen?
No, Franklin Park was chosen previous to that.
Okay.
But we were in an early planning meeting, and it was the Boston, Karen Goodfellow, who's head of the Boston Art Commission, Carolyn Lewinberg, who is head of the co-partner with Diana of Art Grove, and myself, and they kind of looked at me and said, okay, so what do you think the theme should be? And I said, endurance. It just came out of me, and after I said it, I realized why I had said it.
Wonderful.
And then all the artists responded to that theme.
I love that. It sounds incredible. And I know that there's more for people to look forward to.
Yes, we actually have a public art discussion led by Dr. Barbara Lewis, September 30th at Franklin Park Clubhouse, and it's part of Art Week Boston, and people can find more information on our website at www.artgrove.org, and also on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Franklin Park Art Grove.
Yes. I'm excited because what I don't feel like Boston gets enough of is Black art that represents our community. And challenging those artists that are out there that are posting great artwork throughout their social media to physically present that to the people. And that's what I love about Art Grove, bringing those discussions, getting those discussions together, getting the artwork out there, and giving people a free opportunity to enjoy this. So I want to say thank you to you ladies. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Boston to get out there. Make sure you find out more about Art Grove. Go to the website and find out more about these ladies and the movement in the art world here in Boston now. I'm excited.
Yes, and look out for Art Growth 2016.
17, 18, 19, and 20.
Infinite. We are going to cut to another PSA, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking with David Carruthers. He is one of the producers here at BNN, and he is the producer of The Empowerment. We'll be right back.
It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
We taught him how to hit a baseball. How to hit a receiver. The strike zone. The net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
You're tuned into Boss Lady News, and now we're going to speak with David Carruthers, one of the BNN producers here, and he produces a TV show known as The Empowerment Zone. David, why don't you come on out? Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, please have a seat.
Thank you.
First, we already know each other, but let's give the audience an opportunity to find out more about you.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from England.
Oh, wow.
I know, yeah.
You're like a big transplant.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, it's funny, I lost my accent when I was around 12 because as I like to tell the story, you mean Americans kept teasing me.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I came here when I was about 12, and after about 3 or 4 months of being teased for my accent, my mother started to Americanize me, and so she would say, "Don't say trash. No, don't say bin. Say trash. Don't use just a knife and a fork. Just use a fork." So she would do all these things and say these things to kind of like Americanize me so that I could fit in.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Americanizing you is more so dumbing down. Compared to a lot of European ways, American ways are more lackadaisical.
Right.
Absolutely. And so that's interesting, but it makes sense, you know, as a young person having to deal with young people.
Right.
That's what we also train our kids how to work and, as Jay would say, how to move in a room full of vultures.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely learned how to do that. I mean, I think that the downside, though, I wish, looking back, she would have said, you know, be proud of your accent. It's beautiful. And in time, people will appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because my brother came over years ago, and the women were like, "Oh my God, I love your accent." I was like, he used to talk like that. But it is
of course,
what it is.
right?
Yeah.
What got you into even wanting to be a producer? For me, I have my own story, but what got you into that?
For me, writing books and doing TV, it's about a voice. It's about having something to say. It's about being passionate about some of the wrong that you see. A lot of what I focus on is relationships because everything is relationships. And relationships doesn't just make kind of the world go around. I mean, everything is important when it comes to relationships. One, because we're always relating, and then I'm a big believer that we got to get back to family.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
even without the ring, I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
the marriage
right.
is important, but even without the ring, trust, loyalty, and
Right.
and hanging in there
That's
is very powerful.
Yeah, right. Those are talk about hanging in there. You know, those are qualities that we don't talk enough about today. Everybody is so career driven, but what's up with the family?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the career without the family?
Exactly. So we're losing a lot of our foundation. And so the writing of the books and the TV show was and is my voice to say, hey, let's get back to these things. Let's focus on these things because these things are very important. And then also, I think it gives me and it gives people an opportunity for people to say, yeah, you're right. I'm glad you're talking about that. I'm glad you're focused on that.
And I'd like to say, you know, applaud to you because there are a number of young black men out there that need someone to look up to. And, you know, I've had quite a few great black men onto the set, and all I can do is encourage young black men to realize that there's other opportunities. There's more out there than being a basketball player, than being a rapper or a singer. There's the opportunities of being a writer or a producer, motivational speaker, such as yourself, that they should find out more about. And that's why I'm glad you're on set today.
Thank you. Well, again, I think it's very important, and I'm glad you said that because I mean, sometimes it's hard seeing what your impact does and how it carries out. And so it's nice when someone actually says it.
Yes.
I had this guy just really kind of complimented me and telling me that I was reaching a lot of people, and it was good to hear.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you don't see the ratings and you don't see stuff, so you just kind of like, well, am I reaching folk? Am I affecting folk?
Exactly. And that's what keeps you going.
Yes. Yeah.
When the public out there lets you know that they are paying attention and that you are a voice for them, it keeps you going. It keeps you motivated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell the people out there to make sure.
It keeps us motivated, and we thank you firsthand. Thank you.
Yes. And before we cut to a brief PSA, a brief break, you mentioned that you do both television and writing.
Yes. So I have 3 books. The first one is called Kill Your Giants. The second one is Unlock Your Greatness, and the third one is Reactors. Kill Your Giants is my first one, and I love that one. That's my baby. But I love that one because that is the foundational one. And what I mean by that is that the premise of the book is that a giant is anything that stops your destiny. I'm big on identifying what the problem is. I think there are too many people that have problems, and they don't know why. And a lot of times they don't know why is because they don't dive into why. They don't dive into why because it's painful. But if you don't deal with the pain, the pain is not going to go anywhere until you actually deal with it.
Absolutely.
And so in this book it says a giant is anything that stops your destiny. The giants are anger, pride, fear, lust, and rejection. We talk about what they do, how and why they hold us back. And then we talk about some practical ways of how we can remove them or deal with them so that we can live our dreams. Because the whole purpose of killing your giants is so that you can live your dreams.
Wonderful. We're going to cut to a brief PSA, and when we come back, we're going to discuss more about these giants, your 2 books, and the Empowerment Zone.
Yes. Okay. Amen.
We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned into Boss Lady News. Earlier, we had the coordinators and speaker of Art Grove. Now we have David Carruthers, one of the producers here at BNN, and the Empowerment Zone.
Yes.
I want to jump into that really quick.
Okay.
We were just discussing the fact that you're also a writer, and you've got 3 books available.
Correct.
So let's talk about the Empowerment Zone.
Okay, so the Empowerment Zone, this is our 6th season. So
Congratulations.
Thank you, excited about that. So the Empowerment Zone is basically, it's a show about it's called the empowerment zone because my belief is that I'm big on empowerment, but before you can empower something, you have to identify or confront an issue. So one of the things that we always do is that we take about at least 20 minutes or so, or the first half of the show, to talk about the dynamics of a problem.
Okay.
A lot of times we'll talk, and then we break that problem down. That way people can begin to understand how they got there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then once we understand where you are and how you got there, now we can talk about a solution. You can't just jump to a solution without first identifying what the problem is. You're almost guaranteed to repeat it because of the simple fact, because you're skipping blocks.
Okay.
You know, does that make sense?
Yes. I want to ask you, and this is probably a question I would ask you if we were doing image consulting and branding. Who is your main target for everything that you do? For
adults, it's definitely 25 and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
25. Babies still.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably really 30, but I would love to get that 25 crowd only because they're just getting out of college and it's like, okay, you guys are going to need some
structure.
Some tools, yeah.
Yes.
Some tools and some structure.
Yes.
And so hopefully if you can get this now, you know, and then later on too, I would love to maybe even work with you in terms of branding and advertising, because I've done speaking like Kill Your Giants and Unlock Your Greatness. We have a 7-week personal interactive class for students.
Okay.
Right, and that has gone over very, very well.
Nice.
And
Where was the last one? So people could maybe, well, first of all, how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so David Carruthers 44 at Yahoo, that's my email.
Okay.
The website is www.killyourgiants.com.
Wonderful.
And so yeah.
In the workshop.
Yeah. The workshop. So the workshop. So if you just email me, we can set something up where we come to your class, or we come to you know whatever you want to do, whether it be because I mean the main reason we do it as a classroom setup, but I mean there's a lot that we can do in that.
And I see definitely young people wanting this. I feel like there's a generation now of young people, especially Black Lives Matter individuals, that are looking to be more mature.
Yeah.
I think mainstream media has really beat people down to the point where they're not willing to be down anymore. You've got young people that are interfering with political rallies, posing their own rallies in reference to Black Lives Matter. And one of the points that I bring this up for is because they need structure. So once, and I'm going to mention Hillary Clinton just very briefly, her rally was interrupted by Black Lives Matter. And I want to say she's the only individual that encouraged them not just to change the hearts of the individuals, but to change legislature. To change and to have a focus on what it is that they are trying to change. Right. Because if you never mention what the change is, what the problem is, then you won't be able to change those things. Right. And she said in 10 years, you guys will be right back with the same issue. Have a point.
I appreciate that realness.
Focus on that point and target that point and make those changes. And hearing you talk, I feel like it's the same thing, but it's an internal focus that we're trying to get people to do.
Absolutely. I mean, my thing is personal development. You know what I'm saying? You are, one of the things that I'm growing a little weary of is that people complaining about the relationships that they're in and the people that they're with. But here's my thing. You are what you attract.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, if you don't like what you got, then stop looking at you. I can only knock my exes so much because I chose them. I chose them. You know what I'm saying? Now, the beautiful thing about personal development is that I've noticed firsthand that I have begun to change some of my thinking and some of the way, and I begin to realize why I was doing what I was doing. That's what Reactors is about, why you do what you do. And I began to change the kind of people that I was attracting. I was like, this stuff works.
Absolutely.
Stuff works.
Absolutely. The power of attraction.
Yeah.
The power of attraction. And for so many young people out there especially, and older people, we are looking to not just change outside.
Right.
We're looking to change inside as well.
Right.
So
Good.
I think this is a great opportunity that people can find out more about you, the
Yeah.
Empowerment Zone, Kill Your Giants, and name those other 2 books one more time.
So Kill Your Giants, Unlock Your Greatness, and Reactors.
Reactors. And if anybody out there wants to coordinate a workshop with you, they can email you. What's your email again?
DavidCarruthers44@yahoo.com.
DavidCarruthers44@yahoo.com. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to encourage more people to find out more about all of the producers that are here at BNN, because every producer has their own story and they have their own focus. And once again, I think it's great that you are a force to look up to for other young men.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
We are going to take a break, and I'd like you all to enjoy the sounds of this beautiful New England artist. When we come back, we'll get a chance to run over to Taylor Andre's house and talk about some of the issues that are going on out there. We'll be right back. So he won the question, and the question was, it was a Spike Lee movie, and I wanted to know who remembered the movie. Do you remember the name of the movie?
School Days.
School Days, that's right. And I said we were going to go ahead and go out to Fridays, and we're here, Hike for Life, and I wanted to give you guys kind of like some insight of some of the Black entrepreneurs that are throughout the Boston, New England area, and this is definitely one of the gentlemen. And we were kind of just talking about how we got started. I know y'all can't hardly see me. It's because he's 6'1", and I'm not. But I wanted you to kind of get a intake on our conversation while we have dinner. But you were just asking me how I got started. And I was saying that I really don't know how I walked into BNN and started BossLady News. But, you know, I'm glad I did. And now 3 years into it, I see myself and people at BNN, yes, I'm hearing you guys talk, wanting me to do more. So I figured if I'm going to do more, I might as well reach out to the people that are doing stuff within our community. And you're one of them. Oh, our food is here.
Oh, okay.
Woohoo! Yes. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
You grab anything else?
Nah.
No bacon, right? No bacon?
No bacon.
No, you didn't. You didn't forget.
Oh God, on the bacon jam is on it.
Oh, they put bacon on the
April
burger.
Fools, I knew it. April Fools. That was a good one.
That is our waitress tonight. That is Hannah. She's beautiful. You guys see her.
Thank you.
But what got you started with Hike for Life?
Well, I was out with a friend of mine out in the woods, and we just had a long conversation about what we didn't see when we were in the woods, and that was people of color. We were out for a few hours and we saw no other black people.
Yeah.
And we decided together to come up with an idea. Well, we had the idea, but to come up with a concept to bring people, our friends, starting with our friends, to bring our friends who are primarily people of color out into the woods for hiking, just to experience what it was like outside of the city. I had been hiking since 2000, and I had some experience. So being able to share that experience with people that have never done it before has been, you know, it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey for me to actually be able to introduce people of color to nature. People who are considered nature deficient, who just live in cities or in, you know, neighborhoods and blocks, and have never really gotten out to explore the great outdoors.
Yeah. And you'd asked me earlier if I would ever be interested in doing some hiking again.
Right.
And I explained how one day I went hiking and a huge bug, like this big, fell on my shoulder, and at the time I was so small that it felt like the size of a book falling on my shoulder. And coincidentally, now that I'm older, I'm afraid of small bugs going up my nose, and big bugs don't bother me. But I'm very much interested in making sure that I do get a chance to get out of the city, because it's a different understanding of life when you get out of the city. You get a chance to know more about nature and being sufficient and relying on yourself. And when you're in the city, there's so many, you know, easy way out. The convenience store right down the street. You don't have to worry about doing too much. Everything is so close that you don't rely on yourself to be able to take care of yourself.
That's right.
And I feel like our young people are definitely forgetting how to maintain and take care of themselves.
I agree. The incentive to hiking or doing anything in the outdoors is to you have an immediate sense of accomplishment, because like you said, you rely on yourself. You rely on your legs, you rely on your 2 feet.
I'm just gonna make sure this mic is good. I'm gonna edit that out. Go ahead.
Okay. Start over.
You rely on your 2 feet.
Okay. You rely on your 2 feet. You rely on your legs, you rely on your 2 feet to get you the way you need to go. Because if you don't move, you're not going to get anywhere. And your end goal is the top. Whether it's the top of a hill or it's the top of a mountain, the reward is always at the top. So there's always a sense of accomplishment. Whether you walk 1 mile, 2 miles, or even just 500 feet, you're moving your body, you're breaking a sweat usually, you're exercising, you're doing something that's better for yourself physically and spiritually.
Yeah.
I go to the woods because I connect spiritually to Mother Nature. The outdoors is kind of like my church. That's my place of peace. And it's become a place of peace for a lot of people.
It's true. Myself, I was raised in the Catholic Church, as many people may know, but I'm more spiritual now than I am any particular denomination. And if you are Catholic or, you know, worship Jesus, you should know that there weren't churches before. It was a congregation getting together for one particular reason, and that was to really know more about their spirituality. So we're going to go ahead and eat, and we'll find out more about Hike for Life a little bit later. We're going to enjoy our food here at Fridays. Talk to you later. Bye.
So Hike for Life is a community-based organization that focuses on taking African American families out of the hoods and into the woods. We hike, camp, bike, zip line, and kayak to reconnect, reintroduce, and revisit our place in the great outdoors. Our motto is get up, get out, go hiking.
I hope you all enjoyed the show as much as I do. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Also, go over to the website, BossLadyNews.com. Make sure you check out previous shows, exclusive shows. Also, I'm working on a media program over at the Vine Street Community Center. Please find out more about that under the donation tab on the website. I hope you guys enjoyed the performer from before. I want to thank you all for coming and watching me talk with Art Grove, Diana Vertus, and Dr. Barbara Lewis. Please find out more about Art Grove, which is happening throughout the New England area. It's incorporating Black art, also incorporating art throughout Massachusetts art schools. And I'm very excited to invite you all to find out more about that. Also, David Carruthers, one of the producers here, Please feel free to find out more about all the producers in your New England area. If you're interested in producing or becoming a camera person, directing, please feel free to find out about places like BNN so that you can become an intern, so that you could potentially find out more and work on your own shows. Thank you very much.